You just wanna hold it, don't wanna swim it over. It feels like you got it, you want your roller coaster. Don't ask me about my freedom, don't ask me about my wisdom. You want it, you need it, but why?
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Charts live. Coffee and Charts live, volume 20. Hopefully audio is clear, coming through good. Internet appears to be good. As you guys make your way on, please be sure to like and share the video from whatever platform you are on. If you're tuning in from Facebook, be sure to follow the TeamAlliance Facebook page. And also turn on the bell notifications. If you're tuning in from YouTube, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notifications. Also, if you're not a member of the public TeamAlliance Facebook group, be sure to join the group. The link should be underneath the video in the description. Same thing for Twitter. Like and share the video and be sure to retweet. All of that good stuff. So right now we're streaming live from 3 platforms: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you're new to TeamAlliance content, if you're not familiar with NADEX, throughout the live stream, please feel free to ask questions. Questions are welcomed. I like to give education in the beginning when I first come on. So I'll be going through just a brief synopsis of what NADEX is and what we do, in particular with a specific instrument on the NADEX platform. So NADEX is a platform where you can trade. They offer a variety of different instruments that you can trade, including binary options. They also offer something else called spreads and something else called knockouts, which we don't trade. We happen to trade binary options, and even more specifically, 5-minute binary options on the NADEX platform. Now, the beauty of binaries is that it is probably the simplest instrument that exists that you can trade, because the way that NADEX is set up, it is an exchange. So what they do is they take everyone that has an account on the platform, and if you want to trade binaries, just as an example, if you're trading 5-minute binaries like we do, they take the buyers of the options and the sellers of the options, and they put the buyers against the sellers on the platform through the options. So you can buy or sell these binaries depending on whether or not you anticipate the market remaining above or remaining below the strike price of the option that you're trading. So visually, on this chart that you see now on the screen, the strike prices represent the horizontal lines going across. The blue horizontal lines that are going across, each of them represents a strike price. And a strike price is just simply a price level in the market that is used to determine whether or not the buyers or the sellers of the options are going to win or lose. It's that simple. So if you're buying, meaning that you're anticipating the market remaining above the strike price, if you're correct about the market staying above the strike, you'll win the trade. Vice versa, if you're selling and you're correct about the market staying below the strike, you'll win the trade. If you're wrong about the market ending in the position that you need it to, you'll lose the trade. So on every trade, when it expires, and you can see how up here there's a clock, when this trade expires, someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. And that's how the winner and the loser is determined. It's determined by the position of the market when the clock runs out. So the market will either end above or end below a strike price, And depending on what trade you selected, meaning which direction you're trading, whether you're buying or selling, that's going to determine whether you win or lose the trade. So the next question becomes, okay, that sounds very easy. How can I trade and how can I be successful trading these instruments? Well, to be successful, you just have to consistently be right about where the market's going to end. Now, that right there is where it becomes an issue for people, because the question is, man, how can I consistently be correct about where the market ends when the market moves all over the place? And this is where TeamAlliance comes in. What you'll learn here is how to understand and interpret the movement of the market. That right there is the key. It's not about good trades, bad trades, what trade you're picking. That's not what is going to allow you to be consistent. It's about understanding whether or not you should trade at all. That's the question. Should you even be in the market? So, an easy way to answer that question is to ask, well, when the market is moving, can I see the outcome of the movement before the clock runs out? So basically, there's 5 minutes. There's a 5-minute period of market activity for every binary. When the clock goes to 0, you have to be correct about where the market's going to end relative to the strike price that you want to trade. So the way that we do things is in reverse. Instead of us picking a trade, we actually learn how to understand the movement of the market so that when we do select a trade, we already know the outcome of the trade before we're in the trade. And this is what makes all the difference. It has to be reversed. You can't try to pick trades thinking that you'll consistently be profitable. You have to understand the movement of the market at the time. And the market's movement is broken down visually into the blue and the red candles that you see on the chart. The candles visually give you a very good idea of how the market's moving, how much the market is moving, the type of energy behind the movement, and ultimately what that means. So what you learn when you are here is you learn how to understand the movement of the market before you start trying to figure out how to place trades. Because placing a trade is very simple. All you got to do is buy or sell. But it's not a matter of can you trade. It's a matter of can you win your trades. And you cannot win your trades if you don't understand the market. So for that reason, you have to take the time to study and understand the market's movement. And this requires patience. And it also requires discipline, because you need patience to wait and give yourself time to understand. And you need discipline to not do anything at all until you have gotten a grasp on how the market moves and what it means, etc. So patience and discipline are actually part of your mindset. And this is where the understanding of the market comes into the picture. You won't understand the market if you don't have the mindset required to wait and to also be disciplined to not do anything until you do understand. So for that reason, most people, when they trade, they lose. Even the ones that win more than they lose still lose. Because just because you won more trades than you lost, it doesn't mean that you're net profitable. If you have to make another deposit, you're not profitable. Until you're making consistent withdrawals, you're not profitable. So for that reason, you need to take the time to understand the market first. And even before that, you need to take the time to develop the mindset that you're going to need. Because the mindset that you need involves your development of patience and discipline. Without question. They're not optional. You have to learn how to be patient and you have to learn how to be disciplined. Now, what's remarkable about being here on NADEX is that when you are consistent here, you are in position to now scale up the size of your trades. And by scaling up the size of your trades, you ultimately scale the amount of your income, your profits, how much you're going to make. So you have to be consistently profitable in order to scale up with confidence. Because the same trade that you take, for example, with one contract, it's the same trade even if you were trading 50 contracts. The trade is not different because there are more contracts that you're trading. It's the same trade. So you need to be clear with what you're doing when you're in the market. That way, regardless of the size of your trade, you have the confidence in what you're seeing in the market and you'll know the outcome of the movement. And what happens when you know the outcome of the movement? You'll know the outcome of the trade. So again, this is not about picking trades. It's about understanding market movement first. Even inside of my group, I have to constantly just remind everyone that when we're in observation, we're not even applying the parameters for entering into a trade until we recognize the stability in the market that needs to be there first. Let's say that again. We don't even try to enter into a trade until we see stability. Because stability in the market is the only thing that allows us to know the outcome of the movement. That's it right there. That's it. So it takes time and it takes just repetition of what it is that we do in our process to develop that as a habit, where eventually you stop even asking trade questions. You won't ask questions like, is this valid? Because if you're asking, is this valid, as if you're referring to the trade setting up, the real question is the market stable? So your question really needs to more so be relative to whether or not there is stability present now in the market with your observation. So I'm giving you guys an example of the way that we grow and we elevate as we train. Because at first, yes, you'll ask trading questions. You'll ask trading questions. You'll ask questions like, I saw that, this had 5+1, and I saw option pricing. And the pricing was favorable until X amount of time left on the binary. That's a trade question. A market question would be, I see that the market is slowing down, but there's still too much movement, I think. Is this too much movement? See, because the same binary that you'll have a question about the trade setting up about, if you look at how the market looks, you've already answered the question about the trade. Because the answer to whether or not the trade is valid can be found in whether or not the market is stable. You see? So you just like I said, this is reverse engineered, the entire process. The whole thing is in reverse. So realistically, you get to a point where you no longer ask trade questions at all. Because you'll know that the only time that you'll ever even consider entering is because of the existence of stability. And I'll go even further, because of the pre-existence of stability, meaning that the market's already stable now. So you begin to understand, well, how do I know that it's stable now? You see, that's the real question. The question is, how do I know that the market is stable now? Versus, is this a valid trade setting up? So you see how the dynamic is completely different? And this is why observation is so important. That's why I do these. This is exactly why I'm here now. I'm doing a live coffee and charts, and we're doing a market observation. We're looking at what? The market. So this is why when people come around, it's like they are awakened. Because when you come here, you start to realize why you've been losing the whole time. Start realizing like, oh shit, he hit it on the head. Yeah, I've definitely taken trades like that. Meaning that you've taken trades at that time. At what time? When the market was not stable. See, that's what we break down here. When you come here, we're looking at the market to see if the market is stable or is it stabilizing. If it's not stable, why not? What about it's not stable? How many different layers of the things that we use to identify stability are present? If you only got 1 out of 3 layers, then we know that the market's not stable yet. So your question can't possibly be, was that a setup? Or what about that one right there? Was that one good? Well, the question is, how's the market? Is the market stable? Oh, no. I see what you mean. No, it's not stable yet. Okay, so then that one was not good. Make sense? Anything that takes place when the market is not stable is not good. Any trade that sets up, I don't care what the trade is. If it sets up when the market's not stable, it's not a good trade. Boy, oh boy. Good trades don't win trades. Whoa. Well, see, no one has ever spoken to you like this. This is why I like when newer people come around, because you get woke up. You get woke up. Good trades don't win trades. See? So that your problem is right there. You think that a good trade is going to win your trade. Good trade set up all the time and lose. Happens all the time to people. Man, that was a good setup though. I don't understand what happened. How did that one lose? How was that possible? Oh, you know what? This strategy is no good. No, it has nothing to do with the strategy. It has more to do with your lack of understanding of the market. You don't understand the market yet. That's why your good trade lost. You're still trying to figure out how your good trade lost. Because it's not about a good trade. I know that this is not fully understood by people, the same way that the market is not understood at all by people. But I tell you what, when you start to understand this, you start to elevate your mindset. And the elevation of your mindset is what you need in order to understand the market. Because if you don't have patience, you won't watch long enough. You'll be watching, next thing you know, you in a trade. Why are you in a trade right now? You ran out of patience. I don't know, watch this shit. If I see a setup, the next setup I see, I'm taking it. You're running out of patience. See, you're not even understanding why your trade is not winning. It was a good trade. What happened? This is why I said good trades don't win trades. This is another level of elevation right here. All right, let me do a quick roll call. See who we got in the building with us. I see Angel in the building. Maui Jeff is here. Melanie, what up? Orion, what up? What's happening, Carmela? I see Jamal, Carl Francois, Jay Andrew, what's going on? Phil Drake is here. Osmond is here. Otis, JT, Willis Majors here. I see Nicole Blunt, Walker, Alvin Muhammad, Damon, welcome. Kareem, what's going on? And Jamal, Mr. Benediction himself. All right. Ro, what's going on? So Kareem, is this a question, or were you just reiterating what I was saying? Ryan, what's going on? Yeah, but so this is something that I know for a fact. People who trade, once they begin understanding it, everything changes. Okay, so that is the question. Yes. All right. So, Veron, what's happening? When I say good trades don't win trades, here on NADEX, you're dealing with binaries. And when someone describes their trade, they're describing their setup. So in other words, let's just take a look at something real quick. We'll use an example. Let's say that you trade the way that we do. We trade in the money, right? So we're looking at this. We're like, all right, cool. Look at this. Market is below this strike price here. I saw some price in here. All right, I'm gonna take this trade right here. This is a good setup. I see some option pricing, and we're underneath this strike price. We only got a minute and change left. Looks like a good trade. And then you just take the trade. Boom, you get into the trade just based on this trade setting up right now. It's in range, it's in position. You got option pricing, right? And you take the trade. Boom, you're in the trade. Now you're in the trade short. Now, look at what's going on right now. I love this. I love to see this. Look at what the market's doing right now. So the person that was looking at that as a setup, they just got their ass set up just now. Because you took that short, looking at option pricing, you saw that the market was underneath the line, and then what happens? Right before you got into the last minute, market decided to continue to push up. So now you're in a trade. The setup was good, but now you're looking at the price going up, and you're like, oh man. And now look, now the price is coming back down. Check this out. Price comes back down, and you end up winning this trade. How do you feel now? And just give me your honest feeling. You took this trade short. As soon as you got in the trade, it went up against your position. And then it comes back down and underneath the strike, and you win the trade. How do you feel? Tell me how you feel, honestly. That's for Kareem. You feel good now? Look at that. Look. Check this out. Kareem said he feels good. Guess what, Kareem? You feel good, but that's bad. So let's talk about it for a moment. Let's talk about it. You feel good. Why? Why do you feel good? And this is going to be very good. Trust me when I tell you. By the time we get through this, this is going to be so good. Why do you feel good? Kareem? Look, oh my good. Listen, I cannot make this up. Kareem says, I feel good because I won the trade. So you know what's going to happen again, right? What's going to happen now, Kareem? What's going to happen the next time that a trade sets up? Next time you get a trade set up, what are you going to do? Because that one won. You won that trade. That was a good trade. It was a good setup, right? Market came back down and ended below your strike. That's a winner. What you going to do? Next time a trade sets up, look at this. You cannot make this up. Next time a trade sets up, I'm going in. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's keep going. So take that trade, enter the trade, market moves against you, then it comes back down. You feel justified for being in that trade because you end up winning the trade. You just justified your own behavior because your behavior was based on you entering that trade based on the setup. The trade set up, you had a minute and change left, took the trade. Even though the market went against you, it came back down, you ended up winning the trade. You feel good. There's only one problem. The problem is that you're going to do that again. Uh-oh. You're going to do it again. You're going to do what? You're going to take another trade that sets up. See? Now check this out. This is how we look at it though. Instead of us looking at this and feeling good about being in that trade, and I'll mark it so that you'll see the candle I'm talking about. It was this one for a short. So this trade right here won. You see how the candle came, it went red and it came back underneath? That's a winner. Instead of us looking at this and feeling good about this trade winning, we want to know why did the market go up and then come back down? We want to know why did it do that with a minute left? That's the question. instead of looking for that trade to set up again, because that's what you're going to do. You remember that this one. So when you see a trade set up like that again, you'll take it again. And the worst thing that can happen is you win again. Because if you win that twice, ain't nobody going to be able to tell you nothing. And you'll take it a third time. So anyway, this will continue to go on. Instead of us looking at that, we're looking at this like, you know what? I need to understand why the market moved this way. What's going on in the market right now that would cause it to even do that? That would be the question that we're asking. Let's continue. So instead of us feeling good about being in that trade, we're going to feel like, you know what? We shouldn't even been in the trade, period. Why not? Well, because there's some type of activity in the market right now that caused it to move that way. And that's what we need to know. Instead of looking for another trade to set up because we won this one. Do you see what happens? So like I said, worst thing that can happen is you find another trade just like that and it sets up and then you win again. That's the worst thing. Because you will continue to do it. Again, what do? We don't even want to know about the trade. We want to know about the market. Why did the market move that way at that time? That's the question. That's what we need to know. That's what we want to know. We don't care anything about that trade winning. Matter of fact, if I win that trade, I feel bad. Because I'm like, shit, I shouldn't even been in the trade to begin with. Like, does that make sense? See, we're human. So naturally, you feel good when you win. But you don't understand why you won. The same way that you wouldn't have understood why you lost that trade. If the market would have kept going up, you would have been even more confused. You'd be like, wait, that was a good setup though. But what happened was even worse than that. What happened was the market came back down. You felt good because you were short. And you're like, yeah, that was good. Shit, that was great. That was a winner. So you just justified being in the market at the wrong time. Whoa. Whoa. If the market's moving that way, it's not the right time to be in it. And this is where people get confused about trading. So let's continue to go. Let's keep going. And Kareem, is any of this making sense to you so far? Like, is it making sense, or it didn't click yet? Angel, that's good. Angel going in. That's good right there. Kareem, you still there? I'm hoping he's still here. Because I would like to know if any of that I just said makes any sense to you. And see, the thing about it is that there's a lot of people like Kareem. The average person is like Kareem. That's why anytime I talk like this, I already know that people are thinking like that. Let me see what Kareem says. He said, I understand what you're getting at, but not the process you would use to enter the market. Okay, so you're saying that you don't understand the process that I would use to enter? Is that what you're saying? Mo, what's happening? And this is This is awesome what Angel said right here. Look at this. Like the beginning of the relationship, you're looking at feelings instead of patterns of behavior. The patterns, if you recognize them early, you can get out that relationship before it's too late. Amen to that. Instead of just going with the tingle that you feel, right? You're feeling all tingly inside. Oh, he's the one. Oh, she's the one. She's great. You feel she makes you tingle inside. So you just going off of that. But you don't know that she's a psychopath on the low. Or vice versa. Right? You don't know because you're not studying actual behavior. You're just going off of the tingle. Very good analogy right there. Kareem, so okay, so as far as entering into the trade, what my point is with even talking about this right now is that how you enter the trade is less important than understanding why you entered the trade. So does that make sense? Even if you enter, okay. All right, so let me just do this. The way that I showed you on that same trade, on this same one, that's how I would enter the trade. So you said that you don't understand how I would enter a trade. That's how I would enter a trade. Exactly how you saw that. How I opened up the ticket and you saw the pricing and all of that. You saw where the market was. I would enter trade just like that. Now, is that a trade I would be in? No. No, it's not. Because I don't enter trades just off of there being an entry for a trade. Does that make sense? I'm not entering the trade just based off of how I enter trades. I need to know why I would even be in a trade now before I enter into that trade. That's what I'm saying. So, for example, this was the perfect example to use because it was a trade setup. That was a setup. It was a good setup. There was pricing. It was in position. But market ended up going up, came back down. If you took the trade, you felt good because the market came back down and you won. We don't want to feel good because we won. We want to feel good because we're in the trade at the right time. So it has very little to do with the trade setting up. The trade just happened to set up. But if a trade is setting up at the wrong time in the market, meaning when the market is not stable, then that ultimately is not a good trade. That's why I said good trades don't win trades. Good trade. So in other words, you just being in a good trade is not going to win the trade. The market being stable is the reason that you'll win any trade. Or let me go even further. The market being stable is the reason that you'll win any trade and know in advance that you'll win. Whoa. You'll know before you enter the trade that you'll win the trade. Because you recognize stability in the market before you took the trade. So your thinking has to flip. If you are concentrating on how to enter, you are being distracted by that. and you're not paying attention to the market. You're just looking at, all right, it's in position, there's option pricing, this is a good setup. And if you do that, it's only a matter of time before you lose. And what makes it worse is that when you lose, you won't understand why you lost because you thought that it was a good trade. So what happens when your good trade loses? Now you try to tweak the trade setup. So now you're like, all right, well, I think I entered that too early, or I entered it too late. I should have waited before I took that, when it had nothing to do with your entry, did it? Because the market still did what it did. If you just entered that trade, you wouldn't have had any other way of tweaking anything. That was your setup. You would be in the trade. The question is, well, why did the market move that way when I was in the trade? And that's the information that you need to focus more of your energy and your attention on learning. See, this is exactly why when we get into our trades, we know before we get into the trade that the trade is going to win. Not because we're picking out good trades, but we're recognizing that the market is stable in advance. And stability in the market is the reason why you'll win trades. He says, forgive my ignorance. Can you show me in a chart where the market is stable? I'm only trying to understand you better. There are a number of things that we use to recognize stability. One of them is this box that you see. You see this green box on the chart? That's one of the tools. There are a number of different tools that we use together to recognize that the market is stable. So here's an easy one. Here's one of the easy tools. When you see all of the candles staying inside of the box, that's a good sign that the market is stable. The smaller the candles are inside the box, that's an even better sign that the market is stable. The longer that the candles remain in the box, when they're smaller, that's an even better sign that the market is stable. So you see what I'm saying as far as recognizing that first. You haven't heard me mention anything about a trade yet. You need to see the pre-existence of the market being stable first before you even consider being in a trade. So the time that you spend on the platform should not be looking for trades. The time that you spend should be observing the market and understanding behavior so that you recognize what stability looks like. You start to see when the market is dominant with the behavior that translates into stability. Less movement is a sign of stability. What does less movement look like? Smaller candles. See? Look, let me point out a few things to you. Watch this. Here's the smaller candles right here. These are smaller candles. Let me duplicate this. And let me just go back a little bit. These are smaller candles in here. Right? So just off of what I have done so far, here's two areas, one here, where there are smaller candles. Now, if you look at this overall area, you got one more area where there's smaller candles. Right here. And we'll even include this other little one down here. So like this. These 4 candles right in there, these 4. So these are smaller candles. So you got smaller candles here, here, and here. For the most part, everywhere else is bigger candles, ain't it? You got bigger candles everywhere else. These are big. These are big. Here's another big one. But look at what's happening now. Now you're starting to see smaller candles again over here after the big one. Look where we are right now. Let me duplicate this. You're starting to see smaller candles now over here again. So do you see what's happening now? Look at what's happening now. You're starting to see smaller candles more often. You had them here, here, and now here. Versus if you didn't have where we are now, you would have more bigger candles. There are more bigger candles on the chart than smaller candles. But now coming over here, you're starting to see more smaller candles than bigger candles. Look, if I just take that side of over there away, now there are more smaller candles than bigger candles. You got 5 here, another 3 here, and 5 here. So that's 5, 3, and 5. That's 13 candles. 13 smaller candles. How many bigger candles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you got 13 smaller candles versus 5 bigger candles. What is that telling us? Look at how I just broke that down. Observation. This is just what the market is doing. It's not like I made it up. You see, this is what the market is doing. So you're learning how to recognize this. The same way that back here, you see that there are more bigger candles. Look at all these big candles. Big. These are big. You had a couple of small in there. Big, 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 big. Some smaller in this area, but big. So there were more bigger candles than smaller candles. And what did I say about smaller candles? That's an indication that the market is stabilizing. You'll see stability easy with the smaller candles. Why? Because there's less movement. So less movement equals stability. That quick, I just gave you the lesson. Just through observation. And mind you, there's no indicators of anything that we're looking at. This is just you looking at the market. So when you learn how to recognize that the market is stabilizing, and this is how you do it using these tools. These are tools, not indicators, tools. Look, you still got smaller candles here. Look at this. Look, this is what's happening now. So now, when you see that the market is stabilizing this way, and it makes sense to you, everything changes. So now when you see, all right, I see that the smaller candles are dominating. I'm also seeing that the candles are also staying inside of the box. Look at how many different layers of indication that you now have that the market is stable. So now what happens to your confidence when you enter into a trade that sets up? It's a different type of confidence. Because you know what happens when the market is stable like this. Look at how the candles are clustering together. Just look at this. Look. These candles are clustered together. Now, they're not in position for a trade to set up, but it's the behavior that you are paying attention to. The behavior. This is how you want the market to be behaving in advance. So this is what I mean about us not looking for trades. Has nothing to do with a good trade. Because your definition of a good trade is a trade that sets up. But trades that set up don't win trades. That's why I said good trades don't win trades. Stability wins trades. That was good. That was good, man. So Kareem, that should be helpful just in general. And for anyone that's watching, still trying to figure out what the hell we be doing, and I understand how it was win trades. I'm explaining to you why. Because you're worried about trades. We're not. You are concerned about your trade setup. That's not what we look for. When you understand stability in the market and you know how to recognize it, guess what happens to trades? They win. They win, and you know that they're going to win. That's the difference. See, we're not here just to trade. Anybody can trade. But the way that you get into the top 9% of income earners in the country, top 5%, even the top 1%, is by being consistently profitable. And you can do that here on this platform. This platform here is crazy. People don't understand, I have conversations with people about different markets and stuff that they're trading. And, a lot of people are into crypto. I know a couple of guys now that trade traditional options, like stock options. And some of them trade options on Bitcoin. They do covered call, I guess it's called covered All right, y'all let me know if y'all can hear everything now. Crazy, man. Crazy. Audio back? All right, cool. Yeah, man. I found out what the hell was. All right, is it back? The hell was that? Oh, I know what I did. I think I actually took my audio out. My bad. I'm over here talking and y'all don't hear shit, huh? All right. All right. So what I was saying is that when you focus your attention on trades, it distracts you from understanding why you would want to be in a trade to begin with. It's a total distraction. Because if you don't make sense of the market's movement, then a trade that makes sense to you doesn't make sense when it loses. Did y'all catch that? That's hard. When you don't make sense out of the movement of the market, when a good trade sets up and don't win, you can't make sense of that. And I'm explaining to you why you can't make sense. You can't make sense out of the trade losing because you can't make sense out of the market's movement, which is why it behooves you to learn how to make sense out of the market's movement first before you concern yourself with trades. So this is regardless of what trade or entry or method. Shit crazy. All right, but we should be back. Yep. This is it right here. Let's go. I ain't leaving. Tell him, Mo. Shit. We don't give a shit what going with the internet. It'll be back. Excuse me. Yep. So pretty much in a nutshell, that's how we are able to consistently profit, which is the whole purpose of all of this. It's very interesting that, you know, it took me years to realize how important understanding the market was. And now I'm able to demonstrate that through my trading and through the teaching. So not only do I trade this way, but when I teach my students to trade, I'm training them to do the same thing that I do. See, the reason that we're going to win is not because of the trade. We're going to win because we understand the market better than everybody else do. It went out again? I'm not showing that. It looked like it's still on. You still hear me, right? At this point, it don't even matter. We've been on for over an hour. I'll probably wrap it up in another 10 minutes. So if any of you have questions, please feel free to ask. So that was a good the question that Kareem brought up was very good because it helped me to communicate something that I know the average person who is trading is experiencing. You know, feeling good about being in a trade that won, even when you really should not have been in the market at all at the time because of instability being present. And then ultimately learning how to recognize when stability is present so that you know the outcome of the movement in the market at the time. And then that translates into knowing the outcome of the trade that actually does set up at the time, instead of doing it the other way around. Average person trading is looking for trades, good trades. To find good trades, they look for a good strategy or good money management. It's like they're missing the most important piece. You can have the best money management in the world. You can have the best risk reward. You can have the best strategy. That strategy can be 99% accurate. That 1% of the time that you lose makes all the difference. Because what happens is as soon as you hear, oh, this is 99% accurate, the first thing that you do is trade a lot. So you trading all the time. again, not understanding why you're even in the trade, aside from the fact that you're using a strategy that promises 99% wins or claims 99% wins. When you learn how to understand the market, you move away entirely from the win rate. You're moving into the why. Well, why would I want to be in a trade now? I don't know how the movement is. It's not stable. I don't understand what it's doing. Even the market don't know what it's doing. It's just doing all type of stuff. Why would you want to be in a trade at that time? Why would you want to be in a trade if the market is moving in a way that you cannot recognize? That should be the question before you trade. Why would I want to be in a trade now? Should be the question. Not, is this a good trade? So you see the difference? There's a big difference between those two things. It's just like if I was to ask someone, all right, look, I'm going to show you how I enter trades. And I show you my setup. And then I ask you, well, do you think that this is a good setup? See, now, so when I ask you that, you're looking at the trade. But when I ask my students that, the response will have nothing to do with the trade. First thing that they'll say, nah, the market ain't stable. Nope. If the market is stable, they'll say something like, nope, it's out of position. Mind you, these are things that come through observation. The language that we use is a direct result of observation. It's not like I just made it up. It makes sense for what the market's doing. Out of position means exactly that. It's out of position. It's out of range for a trade to set up. Where the market is, there's no trade that you'll be able to get into based on the location of where the market is positioned. So it's out of position. Out of position for what? For our trade. So if it's out of position for our trade, what do? Nothing. Discipline. Now let me explain the difference between that and then someone that hasn't developed that mindset. Someone will see that the market's out of position, and because they're looking for a trade, if there's option pricing, they'll try to take the trade anyway. Now, we know what that means. When we see the market is out of position and then there's option pricing, we know exactly what that means. But the person that is anxious and thirsty to trade doesn't know what it means. They're thinking that, oh, here's a setup right here. But we know, well, the market's out of position and there's pricing on the option. That's a no-no. If it's out of position, there should be no pricing. See? But to the untrained person, if you're not trained in market behavior, you won't know that at all. So you'll assume that, oh, well, this is a good trade setup. Look how much distance I got away from that strike. Until about 30 seconds left. And then that gap between the distance between where it was and where it ends up is crazy. And you see a long ass candle that goes to the other side of the strike. And then your trade loses. So then what do? Then you try to tweak the entry again. Oh, I shouldn't have entered that. I entered a little too early. It has nothing to do with you being early. It wouldn't have mattered if you entered it on time. for the trade. You still entered it at the wrong time for the market. That's the difference. That is the difference. But let me also say, just to reiterate the point again, on this platform, you are able to begin trading with one contract. That's $100. Even if you're just opening a new account, you can open a new account with $250. And what I recommend that you do is withdraw 150 of that, leaving $100 in the account. Mark, I would want to start with more so I can, trade with more contracts. No. Don't start with more. Start with the least amount that you can start with. Why? If you can't turn $100 into $500 or $1,000, why would you want to start with $500? Doesn't make any sense, right? You can't turn 100 into 200. Why you want to start with 500? Why you want to start with 1,000? Oh, because I can start with 10 contracts. No, you mean you can start with losing 10 contracts? Because that's what's going to happen eventually. Maybe not right away, but eventually you're going to lose. Whereas if you learn how to understand the market and then you apply that to your trading, now you're in position to start with $100 and go up as much as you want. You start with $100 with one contract, you can take that up to 300 contracts and 30 trades. How do you do that? Well, if you have the confidence, you can literally maximize to the full value every trade that you take. Every trade that you enter into, full value on the trade. Mark, that's ludicrous. That's ridiculous. It's not good money management at all. Not for you. But listen to what I said. What did you start with? Did you not start with $100? Did you not start with one contract? Make sense? Kareem, the pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all mine. Kareem definitely appreciates the lesson. Shout out to Kareem. Daffy Duck. Yes, sir. My pleasure. So, again, this is why I'm so adamant about doing these observations and, just providing more and more value and education and understanding for people because, do you guys realize what we're able to do here? And I've come to realize that people really don't know. They just don't understand. I'm like, listen, there has never been another opportunity like this in my lifetime. And I'm 43. And I've been in the financial world since I was 12. And in my entire experience, there has never been anything like what we're doing right now. Nothing. I don't care what you trade. Futures, nope. Crypto, nope. Forex, nope. Stocks, nope. They're not better than what we're doing here. Period. So it behooves you to take the time to learn. Pay attention. Pay attention. It ain't hard. It's really not. Non-ether, how many candles confirm a barrier? More than one. You need at least two. What adds to the confirmation of a barrier is smaller candles and also the candles remaining in the box for longer. So as you observe, it's not that you're looking just for temporary barriers that hold. You're looking for stability in the market so that when a barrier sets up, it holds. Does that make sense? So in other words, we're not looking just for barriers. Like, oh, here's a barrier. No. The reason that barriers are forming is because the market is respecting itself. It's respecting points that it's moving to while it's stable. Right? So being able to recognize all of the things that equate to the market being stable, that's the key. Which includes, but is not limited to, the box, smaller candles. And another word for smaller candles is range. Clusters will come as a result of having more than that one candle that I mentioned that respect the barrier. When the market's respecting a barrier, it creates a cluster of candles. So when you put all of these pieces together, they equate to stability being present. When the market moves into position and it's within range, I'm talking about something different now. When it's within range, meaning when it's within an adequate amount of distance to the strike. In conjunction with everything else that I mentioned. Candles being in the box, smaller candles, barrier being respected, cluster. When you have all of these things, you see it. It forms visually. And when the market moves into position, aka moves into range or moves within range, and that trade sets up, that's the trade that you're going to be in, of which you'll know the outcome of. You'll know the outcome of it. How or why? Because you know the outcome of the movement. Right? What's the dominant movement? What's the dominant behavior? All of the tools that we use help us to see it. And that's why the patience is so valuable, because you being able to wait for the market to present it means that you don't have to go look for it and you don't have to take it. All you have to do is wait for it and receive it. Wait and receive. All facts. Patience. Yes, they're one and the same. Yep. Barry confirmed the candles. Candles confirmed the barrier. That's right. Mark, what do I do when you know if all of that happens, but then no trade comes? You don't do anything. You don't do anything. See, I have to say that because when people start to see what stability looks like and then a trade doesn't come, that impatience and that anxiety comes up again. And you need to be able to suppress that. This is why training is so important, because training is the repetition of the mindset that we need to have. That's why we train every day, nonstop, to maintain the mindset, because it's easy for you to slip. Oh, I didn't get a trade yet. It's been a week. I haven't gotten a trade this week. It's already Wednesday, man. I ain't get a trade yet. See, the market doesn't owe you anything. The market does what it wants to do. The question is, do you know what it's doing? The question is, will you be present when it gives you money? See, if you're patient, you'll be present when the money comes. That's hard. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you'll be patient, you'll be present when the money comes. Instead of doing nonsense and BS because you didn't get a trade yet, trying to force your way into one. We don't do that. We have no need to. Market is going to give it up. And just like I said on one of the lives recently, 130 trades over the course of a year, starting from $100 with one contract, put you in the top 1% of income earners in the country. 130 trades all together. So just think about that. Do you think that the market will do that throughout the year? Think the market will give you that many trades? When you look at it from that perspective, you stop being so impatient. See, the key is being consistent. That's the key. That way you always pick up where you left off at. Just like if I say, hey, where you at? Oh, I'm on trade 18. Then a week or two go by. Where you at? I'm still at 18. All right, cool. Then you get that week where 3 trades come. Where you at? Oh, I just finished project 21. Two weeks go by. Where you at? Still at 21. Another week goes by. Here come 2 more trades. Where you at? I'm at 23. You're following me? What I just broke down was that happened in less than 2 months. I'm just giving you an example. So you'll have time and weeks in between where you maybe didn't get any trade for whatever the reason is. But it doesn't matter because you pick up where you left off. And you never leaving off with a loss. Whoa. Hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're never leaving off with a loss. You left off with a win. You left off with 1-0. That's where you pick up from. Oh, I just started the project. I'm 2-0. Excellent. 2 weeks go by. Where you at? 3-0. Another 2 weeks go by. Where you at? 3-0. Another 2 weeks go by. Where you at? 5-0. No rushing. I'm just breaking it down because this is how it manifests. We 1-0 forever. And I'm telling you, what happens as time goes by, you start to realize, like, wow, I didn't even realize I ended up in that many trades. It'll be like a week and a half that went by, and you ended up being in 4 trades and didn't even realize it. Because you're rinsing and repeating the process over and over again. And this is excellent behavior right here. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that's all it is. We just wait. No rushing. Just wait. So, yeah, man, once again, people don't realize what we have here. This is crazy to me. Like, it's crazy to me, and I'm doing it. And it's still crazy to me. It's insane. Gotta remember, we keep the basket full here. It's about accumulation, not the time. Very good. Look at that. Mindset precedes stability. And that precedes the trade. There it is. So that's what we do here. We observe and we wait. Market gives it up. We rinse and repeat the process over and over again. 1-0 every time that we are in the market. Don't take much or don't take long for you to grow your account, do all of that good stuff. It don't take long. Let me share this real quick. This Project Freedom right here. Project Freedom. Look at where you start from. One contract right up here. That's where we start. From one. You work your way up. It's just one trade after the next. And see, the thing about it is that as you're moving through this, all in all, it's only 30 trades altogether. But each trade that you end up being in is the same trade regardless of how many contracts you have on the trade. So you see the contract size growing, which is the column in the middle, this. You see the contracts growing and all of that. You see the balance growing. This the balance column right here. But that's not even what you're focusing on. You're just focusing on the trade. Because you're only ending up in a trade when the market is stable. So it doesn't matter how many contracts is on it. This is why we're not scared to scale up. People will look at this and be like, oh, man, by the time you reach Project 21 down here, man, 54 contracts on. Doesn't matter. It's the same trade. It doesn't matter if it was number 21 or number 1. Same trade. And that's what it's about. That's all it's about. Remaining focused. So see what Shani said. If you said so long the Forex and 80,000 withdrawals to stick with NADEX, that should be confirmation enough for everyone to recognize the gift of NADEX. 100%. Yep. See, because remember, when I talk about Forex, I always talk about the good and the bad. And for a period of time, there was more bad than good with the brokers. I mean, I had a hard time really trying to find a solid broker that, you know, was not manipulating things on the platform that could cause you to lose money. It took me a long time to find good brokers. I just ran through brokers, like all of them. FXCM, then, you know, Gain Capital, FXDD, Alpari, a couple of other ones too, that were smaller brokers. But these were supposed to, you know, these were supposed to be the big dogs here in the United States. FXCM, that they were the big one. And they was one of the main ones doing shit that would make you lose your money. And they got caught too. So, you know, I had very bad experiences with these brokers after I was already in position to make the money that I could make just based on my skill set. This is why I always big up NADEX, because you don't understand what it's like being on the platform with a skill set, but you can't make no money because they cheating. They're doing stuff that is getting in the way of you making your money fair and square. That's a horrible feeling. So I don't have to deal with that anymore. You understand? I learned so much from that. Now I understand the dynamic altogether of the way things should be and how business should be done on a trading platform. And that's what NADEX is. So Shani, he hit it right on the head. It is a gift. So, you know, take your time, learn the platform, study. If you want training and mentorship, join TA. You want to do it on your own, you could do that too. But understand when I tell you, if you want to do it on your own, learn the market first. Don't be like everyone on the platform trying to find trades, thinking that you're going to do it that way. Oh, it's every 5 minutes, man. I get 30 trades today. All right, go ahead. Get your 30 trades in today. Go ahead. First thing I'm going to tell you is be accountable. Record. Record every one of them. Oh, I don't want to be distracted. How are you being distracted by recording? Cut it out. You don't want to record because you don't want to be held accountable. But see, the thing about it is that accountability is for you. It's not just so you can show other people your trades or what you're doing. It's for you. Go back and watch and see what you did. How was the market moving when you entered that trade? It's for you, man. Here you go. Right, record them 30 and send them to Jay Carly. Yep. See, and that's the thing. Like, we gonna big you up if you do that. We're not haters. Oh, you do that, man. Listen, you get mad respect. All that. See, because the thing about it is, see, look, this is why I want you to do it if you're going to do it. If you do that, I know that you did it because of what I helped you to do. Oh, hold on. If you able to do that, it's because of what you learned here. I'm just saying. You ain't gonna be able to pull it off no other way. Nope. Picking trades and flipping a coin, it ain't gonna happen like that, man. You're gonna have to learn the market just like I tell you to. Angel says, less trades, more money. The only thing in the way is you. Get your mental up, get close to your higher power, and take your profession serious. Go. You never reap the harvest the day you plant the seed. Gotta wait and give it love. That's right, water and sunshine. Sunshine and rain. That's what it is. Sunshine and rain, man. Let's go. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here. Go get some lunch. About to go grab a salad. Kick back. Enjoy this weather. All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is, man. Mark Fuller TeamAlliance. This is I think volume 20. Something like that. Coffee and charts. Yep, I'm out. Peace. Dom de Marco. Dom de Marco.